Bench Opinions. Three idiots with amateur analysis.
Welcome to the Rugby. Or welcome to Bench Opinions, actually. But we're going to be talking about rugby today. But we're going to be talking about rugby today. If you haven't seen our channel before, please like and subscribe. If you would like to wait until the end to make your adjudication, we would still ask you to please like and subscribe.
If you're
now.
Irish, welcome.
If you're Irish, it's nice to
Top
have
of the
you.
morning to you. We're very glad you're here. Whether
What's
it's
the crack?
whether it's to hate on us or to be surprised at how positive we are about Ireland.
Okay, before we start another shitstorm, let's quickly move on to what we're going to be talking about today. The Six Nations has come and gone, and we have gotten a good look at the Northern Hemisphere teams. And in 4 months' time, we have the British and Irish Lions tour of Australia. So,
It's still 4 months away.
yeah.
Yes, you'd swear by the way that everyone's talking about it, it will be next week.
It's so pity that it's Australia. Anyway,
Yeah.
dafür können sie ja nichts. They can't. It's not their fault. But carry on.
Well, let's see. I mean, at the end of the year, they did quite well against the likes of in England. So
Yeah.
maybe they've got a little bit, in these 4 months, that they've got a little bit more time to
Yeah.
find something. We have decided that we're going to try and put a team together. We've each gone and sort of come up with our starting 15 and the bench. And then we're going to have to argue our guys into the team and compile a team together. So,
And the unfortunate thing for you is yours is pasted on a massive screen here for us to look at, and I'm just shaking my head the whole time. But
that's okay.
As
But we're working as a team. We're not working against one another. We're trying to put a team together.
But if someone on my team is dragging me down like this, then I don't know how I'm supposed to. I can't do this all on my own.
It's very ironic that you say all these things, and then we watch you and how you pick a team for URC in your fantasy league, how you pick a team for Six Nations in your fantasy league, and they all end up the bottom of the log. So let's see what you can produce.
I'm picking a team full of talent and believers.
Tell us who you're going to put it in as number one.
Porter. I agree with you.
I have to agree on that front as well. He's an absolute monster.
He is a monster.
Okay, so that's just
I think
wonderful.
to me that would be. So I was actually just listening to. They're called the Rugby Pod. No, they're called
The Love of Rugby?
For the Love of Rugby, and they were discussing this as well, and they were talking about how Porter would probably be better to start off with because he's not as much of an impact player off the bench.
But they were having a big disagreement because I think the one guy was saying have Porter go 60 minutes and then bring on, I think he was talking about Ellis Genge, about bringing him on for the last 20, for the last 30 minutes just to like really do some damage, or do you do it vice versa? And this is the thing, is obviously personal choice and like what kind of playing style you're going to go for.
I think from what I've seen, a lot of people rate Genge as the better scrummer out and out as a prop, which I don't know if that's as important if you're touring South Africa or New Zealand. I don't associate incredible scrummaging with the Australian side of late. Who knows? So I think Porter is the perfect guy. He's just such a complete prop.
And I think Porter's also extremely good at jackling. So maybe you want to get more of those penalties in gameplay rather than getting them at set piece.
Yeah, I mean he's a specimen. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But cool, that was quite an easy one that I assume we've
That's
all
not
gone
where
in.
our conflict will come from.
Then let's go to hooker.
Yeah.
Who would you like to put in as hooker?
I'm not always going to go first.
Oh, I mean, everybody knows what my
Yeah,
list is.
for me it's Sheehan as well.
Also Sheehan.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Jamie George.
Jamie George.
Ooh.
Why do you pick him over Sheehan?
I think he's better.
In what regard? In gameplay, open gameplay, or in
I think
scrums?
all around, I think he's better. I think Jamie George over Dan Sheehan all day long.
So for me personally, I think
We didn't clarify how this is going to work. Is this a two versus? Is this a democracy?
well, if we have a disagreement, yeah, we'll go
Okay.
down to a democracy.
The one thing I will say, and I know we're picking a side based on our opinions and what we think is best, and not so much the likelihood
Right.
of what Farrell will do.
Well, yeah, because we're not coaches. And
No. But I mean, I
think
think you can observe it in a different way. You can also say, "What do I think Farrell's going to do?"
Yeah.
But we're not doing that. I wouldn't be surprised though if he goes for a complete Irish front three.
Really?
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
I think that would be a massive disservice to the English, because I think their front row has really, really scrummaged well, and I think the three Irish could be interchanged with three English and you wouldn't notice the difference. I think they're on the same level.
Yeah, fair enough.
To me personally, I feel that the Irish have better open gameplay in terms of their athleticism, and that's why I personally prefer the likes of a Sheehan over Cowan Dickey, for example.
I'm surprised Dom isn't telling me how old they all are.
But the thing
So
that
give them their send off. It's their last British and Irish Lions tour. You know, all these aging Irish players.
or 40 years old. I prefer Sheehan as more of an open play guy. And you're comparing him to who would you put in?
Jamie George.
Jamie George. The thing that I have to give you kudos on for him is he's an incredible captain, an incredible leader.
He was. He's been
Well, he's
replaced
still-
by Itoje.
But he's still a good leader.
Can't have been that good.
I don't know.
No, I'm kidding.
He's still part of the leadership team.
Yeah,
so
for sure. All
But
right,
we will be going with
Dan
Sheehan.
Sheehan
It's
is
a-
going in.
looking on to your tight head prop. Who would like to go first?
Give Dom a chance.
Scoo.
Who? Excuse me?
Scooman.
Okay.
I think Scoo should be in there.
Well, I've gone for Stuart.
Stuart.
Yeah.
I've also gone for Will Stewart.
All right.
I think so. I've got Schoeman on my bench. So I think we'll probably fit him in there because I think Klaus is also in agreement
Yeah.
with that.
Cool.
All right. I think Lock. I would be surprised if not all of us are in agreement that it's Maro Itoje at 4.
100%. He had an unbelievable season, unbelievable tournament with the Six Nations, and then
Yeah.
he's also just been playing like 80 minutes outright.
Yeah.
So if you
On-
start looking at 2-8 split, 2-6 splits, or maybe even a 7-1 split, the French did it. Maybe the British and Irish Lions do it too. Then you need a guy like Itoje who can go the distance.
Yeah, and then also, with him captaining the side as well, I think leadership.
Do you think he will be the captain?
No, but with him captaining the English, I think he's grown as a player since he's done
Yeah.
that. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because I put him in in a similar sort of drawer to the likes of an Ibn Etzebeth. In the sense that I wouldn't have picked him to be captain material because he was quite erratic throughout his career, Itoje, but someone that's really takes on that role and has actually become a better all-round rugby player since he's been captain. And
Right.
even when he was sort of, now that he's matured and he's been thrust into more of a leadership role, I think has shone and has become a better rugby player. So I think without a doubt.
No, that's a good call.
Yeah.
I
The
like
captaincy is an interesting one though because how much obviously the other obvious choice will be the Irish captain, who we'll get to later. But how much do you value experience of a British and Irish Lions tour, which Itoje's been on two already? Or does he just form part of the leadership team just because you're not sure about how the other players will take to his captaincy?
I think he's a very well respected rugby player amongst the rugby players, and I think that experience is also vital. As you say, he's been part of how many tours already?
2.
2 is a 2, and he's going to be a player who is most probably going to be on the pitch for 80 minutes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's a no-brainer.
I think those are the 3 factors. You've got 1, how experience; 2, who's nailed on to start, and I think for 3, the one thing that speaks in his favor as well is that you tend to, particularly in these situations, look for someone in the forward pack who's a captain.
Mhm.
So I think those 3 speak for Itoje possibly being there.
Yeah, Caden Doris is obviously also in the pack, but I don't think he's as nailed on to play as Itoje is. All right, let's move on.
Move on to the second lock. I've got Tag Burn.
I also have Burn.
I must say, locks. Even in the fantasy, I don't know who half these guys are other than Itoje, so we'll go with him.
All right.
Very unspectacular, below the radar kind of players at times. So
Yeah. I must say, I also struggle to find locks for my bench.
For the bench, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get to the bench later.
Yes.
Let's talk about the back row. The back row
Yes.
is obviously going to be a bit of the powerhouse. And Australia tend to have quite beefy oak, so it's going to be interesting to see who they're
Beefcakes.
going to go up against. At number 6, I've got Tom Curry.
I also have Tom Curry.
100%. He had such a good Six Nations as well.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was everywhere. He was so impactful. Has to be there.
Yeah. Easy one.
But besides Itoje, I think he was probably for England their outright star player.
I think 7 is also nailed on with Josh van der Fleer.
Yeah, an agreement there as well.
There's again, I think the English especially could also feel that their back rowers could be involved here with guys like
Earl, right?
Ben Earl.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
But he's more like an 8th man, I guess.
Switch 7 and 8. He plays
yeah.
7 and 8.
But yeah, I think Ben Curry probably didn't do enough.
I don't think so. I mean, most of the time for England, he was coming off the bench.
He was a bench player. But I mean, those two names. Look at Van der Fleer's been one of the best 7s in the world for many years now.
World Player of the Year.
So I think,
not last year, but yeah, absolutely.
8's an interesting one.
Looking at 8, I've gone with Irish captain Keelan Doris. I think he's going to bring another level of leadership to the group. Maybe not as captain, but as a leader.
Yeah.
And then he's also he's got outstanding skills.
Yeah. Do you know who could be a shout in there is Rory Darge from
that would have been my
he had a really good
knee jerk reaction would have been him as well. Yeah.
But I think Caelan Doris just because
hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with him. Yeah. I mean, I would love someone like Rory Darge to be on the bench.
Mm-hmm. Then let's move over to the back line.
Number 9. That's
number 9. We're all in agreement. Jamison Gibson Park.
The best 9.
I think currently
behind Dupont, best 9 in the world.
Yeah. No, he's really top of his game.
Not bad for a New Zealander.
Let's go to probably the more contentious one.
It's a tough one.
You've got the fly half position, which is obviously a vital position within rugby, and there's a number of guys that are currently putting their hands up in the likes of Finn Russell, who I've selected, but you've also got Marcus Smith, you've got Finn Smith, Prendergast, Crowley.
So many.
There's a
People
whole bunch
saying
of
could bring back Farrell.
Farrell, yeah. I've heard the Askham get thrown into the mix as well.
First of all, I think Russell is past it, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I just when I all of the Scottish games I watched, I just felt like he let the team down a few times, made some bad errors. I don't think physically he's up to it anymore. He's never been a very physical player. He's a skills guy, but I personally think he's past it. I don't see him leading a team like this. And I also don't know, again, this is me like kind of trying to think like Farrell, which is not what we're trying to do, but I don't know if Finn Russell gives you the type of stability and plays in a type of sort of organized way. I think he likes the more, he's your X Factor guy.
Yeah, well,
do you not feel that Scotland got beaten around the park a bit in their forwards, and so Finn Russell didn't really have much to build off of?
I think you can make arguments for that for sure. I can only speak of what I saw with him, ball in hand, and just again, it's bench opinions of 3 idiots with amateur analysis.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not just going to say anything because I heavily agree with that opinion that he's past his best.
Mm-hmm.
The guy is a match winner and a game changer, and when you're that kind of a player, you're going to make mistakes because you're going to try ridiculous things, and it's up to you to put your team on the front foot. And I think the only thing I agree with you on that in that parade of bullshit that you just spewed was that he might not be the right player for Andy Farrell to start with. He might be more of a bench impact player.
I genuinely think he's overhyped, but that's just I honestly do. I think he's overhyped. And
who's your selection then instead of Finn Russell?
I think this question wouldn't be as difficult if there wasn't a clear if there were a clear number 10 for Ireland. That for me, I think if either Crowley or Prendergast step up in that Six Nations, this is an easy debate.
What about England's fly halves?
But then you bring that. I don't think Finn Smith I don't think he's good enough, and he's not the right player. I think there's an argument to be made for Marcus Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think Finn Russell gets in that side. I think, and this is me again, also thinking again like the way Farrell might think, but I think you're going to see one of the Irish fly-offs start.
Can I ask, on a more big picture level, let's assume they're probably going to take 3 fly halves with them. Who are the 3? If even though he might not start, I think we're all agreeing that Finn Russell is on the plane at least to go.
I think so.
I think he has to.
Yeah, I think with his experience as well, I think Marcus Smith goes because he can play at 15.
Yeah, I think probably.
And then it's one of Crowley or Prendergast. I think.
If Prendergast is on that plane,
yeah,
that is a massive
shock
shock because
Yeah.
I don't think he deserves to be there.
No.
I think he's a huge future talent because he's got a lot. I just don't think he showed that he can perform at the biggest stage in the first Six Nations, and I think even someone like Crowley should be ahead of him.
I was going to ask, would Crowley be your third choice? then?
He would be, yeah.
Okay.
I think it would be between Finn Smith and Crowley for the third spot.
What about somebody like George Ford?
Yeah, no,
No.
not for me. For you?
No. I'm just asking. I'm just throwing the name in
I'm
the
actually a
mix.
big fan of bringing someone like Farrell in for the Owen Farrell for the Lions tour.
I wonder if he's even keen to come back.
There's been lots of talk about it. I would find it. I think with the rumor mill moving as quickly as it is, I think if he weren't keen, I think it would have been stopped in its tracks. I think there's serious talk about happening.
And I think just the dynamic with him and his dad
Yeah.
would be a very cool storyline.
Risky.
But
It's risky considering that family relationship, but yeah.
all right.
Because it could also throw a pigeon in the fox in the
The fox amongst the hounds.
the fox amongst the pigeons.
throw a fucking
Fox
fox in the
amongst the-
pigeons.
The fox amongst the cows, with regards to nepotism within the team, and then
Yeah.
do other people feel left out because of politics and blah blah blah. So
Whose feelings got hurt, yeah.
So Finn Russell's also in my team, so I think
we're gonna stick with Finn Russell then in that regard.
majority rule.
Okay.
Alright. I hope he plays and it's terrible.
Well, we all hope that because we're all from South Africa. All right.
Moving on
This
to
is now.
let's move on to the speedsters. We'll go 11-14.
Okay.
And before we then move on to the centers. So I've got Carl Steyn in the mix. He didn't play in the Six Nations because he was still injured, but he is playing for the Glasgow Warriors again and actually started scoring some tries on the weekend. I love his style. I love his
His hair, his face, his body.
his ankles that keep on breaking.
Selfie you took with him?
His leadership
We
as well.
talk about nepotism here and then now it's just your best mate who gets in here. Hasn't played rugby and you're like, needs
Yeah,
to
I
be in
mean,
there.
Best mate, I shook his hand once. Let's calm down.
Best friends.
I like him, and the other reason I've also got him in there is because of my center pairing, which we'll get to later.
Okay, but why can't you have the other actual not inform, but actually playing Scottish wing and Duan van der Merwe?
I don't feel like he is in form.
Or one of the top 3 or 4 wings in the world in James Lowe?
I have James Lowe in 14.
Okay, but we have to settle that debate because I don't think James Lowe plays at 14.
You don't-
I think
doesn't play
James
in 14.
I think James Lowe gets into this team ahead of Duan van der Merwe. I think and he plays 11.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine with me, but
Okay.
I'll still put Carl Steyn on 14.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We're getting to 14 now. You
Oh,
said
yeah.
we're going to do the wings first.
Okay.
Okay, but you both want James Lowe.
Yes. James Lowe is at 11.
Who are you going with at 14, Maxi?
I am going with Darcy Graham.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I also think that Freeman from England needs a shout here because he had a great Six Nations, scored
did.
against every
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we're just, I understand, I'm a big fan of someone like Carl Steyn as well. I really, really like the way he plays. I think he's super talented, but I just don't understand how we can put him even in the conversation of something like this when he's played like 1 or 2 games or 3 games for Glasgow since he's been back. He's just not in the conversation currently.
Yeah, you say that, but there's still 4 months until
We are picking the team
right now for tomorrow's game.
right now.
Okay. Then I'll remind you back to when Siokolisi got selected and he hadn't been playing at all after his ACL injury.
He is the captain.
But this is my point.
Okay. Well,
But it's fine. We've
going-
selected
got Darcy
other.
Graham.
We've got Darcy Graham and we've got James Lowe.
You better know that he's not getting into the subs either, your boy.
Okay. For a guy who was so cocky at the beginning, saying that my entire list is shit, you've agreed with 90% of my list so far.
Well, we still got a bit to go.
I said-
Eyes on the
that's why I-
prize,
that's
boys.
why I said
Eyes on
so
the
far.
prize.
center.
Inside center, I've got Sione Tuipulotu.
I have to agree with that. If he's 100% fit, I have to agree with that. I think Bandiaki is the very obvious choice, but I think Tuipulotu is a little bit younger. I'm kidding. That's not an actual argument. No, I think Tuipulotu is just brilliant.
This is an interesting one because I think you could either start an all-Irish centre pairing or you could start an all-Scottish one, and it would be just as good.
What's the call on Henry Slade?
Doesn't make it for me.
No, so I was very torn between Tui Pilotu and Bandi Aki, but since you guys both agree on it, I guess he's in. But
Yeah.
You can put him on your bench.
he's getting on the bench. I think just because Tui Pilotu would be at 12, I would definitely agree that Hugh Jones should be at 13.
I love you, Jones, at 13.
Because
I'm a
I
fan.
think, like you said, the Scottish backline is fire, and having two guys that play together makes a lot of sense.
Cool. I'm very happy with that. That brings on the fullback position. There's a number of guys who put their hands up, including the likes of Marcus Smith. Then you've got Kinghorn, you've got Keenan, and we haven't picked anybody from Wales yet.
No, I think without being condescending to Wales, like there's just, I think, who's their scrum half? We did this last week.
I would argue though that their fullback is probably their best player or the most exciting player at the moment, from what I saw.
Oh, with his little.
But even beyond that, he had a great tournament. A lot of people talking about him. I actually saw a long story about him. He's also he played junior All Black rugby, and then worked his way through the ranks for Wales.
But are we saying that any of the
no?
Welsh
I just think
players are going to get into the?
No. I just think it's
argument's
interesting
sake.
that we're at 15 now, and if there's any player, that maybe an outside shout is the young fullback for Wales. But yes, I agree with Kinghorn, to be honest.
I also agree with Kinghorn.
Yeah.
I think Keenan would probably feel a little bit hard done by, but
And Kinghorn's incredibly quick. He's a little bit taller, so he's great under the high ball. I think he can. They sometimes move him to wing if they need to reshuffle the back line.
Yeah.
So I think
and he plays in a very dynamic French league, so he's got a lot of pace about him in terms of his gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
On the shout of Marcus Smith, I think Marcus Smith's the fact that he can play in multiple positions, his adaptability costs him a starting spot in the side. I think
the way England have used him probably has done him more harm than good. I honestly think he's better at 10 than he is at 15.
Yeah.
I think when he played against South Africa in the Autumn Internationals last year, he marshaled that game to a T, and he was so incredibly dangerous. But that's not our problem.
Not my problem.
Not my problem. All right.
Let's move on to the bench. The bench, obviously, you could go multiple different ways with your 5-3 traditional split, your 6-2 and your 7-1 split. I don't think they'll do a 7-1 split.
I think let's stick to what's traditional.
Yeah.
A 5-3 split?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like cheating like the South Africans.
And the French.
Apparently, yeah.
And the French.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going with La Bomba or La Nuke. So we'll go with a 5-3 split. I've got as the hooker replacement Luke Kawandiki. I think he's a solid scrummager and good off the bench.
Yeah. I'm all in on that.
I think he's a good
think the
second
next
hooker
one-
in the side. I think the next two are pretty...
I think the next two we also agree on. I think Ellis Genge and Pierre Skuman would get in my opinion, as well.
Genge and Skuman. Yeah, very nice. I like that.
I think just
throw
give it...
something at the wall and let it stick.
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Just make sure he's really tall
Yeah.
and can catch.
So I've gone with a Scottish guy, Grant Gilchrist. I thought he played quite nicely. I'll put him on the bench.
Matt Fagerson is next.
He's good, yeah.
He's
Fagerson.
good. I would maybe put my hand up and say, what about Rory Dodge or Ben Earl?
It's true.
Instead of Ferguson.
I think Earl, as we mentioned, he can play both at 7 and 8. I think maybe that gets him in.
Yeah.
Possibly. But Dodge had a great tournament. So, tough.
Take anyone, I'm with you.
I think because of the amount of English players we have, which is, I think, just about out of imbalance for how well they actually played in a lot of parts of the Six Nations, I think Earl is a good choice.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's put some backline players up
Can
here.
we get to the speedsters? Or the speedy
Yeah.
boys. Well, traditionally you would have a scrum half in the mix. So who's the replacement scrum half?
I don't know anyone other than old mate from New Zealand who plays for Ireland, and then
I did.
Well, you've got your Van Portfleet.
he's good.
From England, you've got White.
Actually, I think Van Portfleet's the shout, to be honest.
You've got the replacement in Murray at an Ireland's team.
Is he only retired from Ireland now? Is he still making himself available for the British and Irish Lions?
That's a good question. Oh, he might not even be available.
Yeah, because I mean, someone like no, I've completely blanked. Never mind. Who was the guy who caused so much fight who just retired as well from Ireland?
Peter Mahoney.
Yes,
Mahoney.
he's also not.
I don't like him.
Um,
He's a brilliant player, but
so this is where maybe we need to open our hearts and minds to
the Welsh?
the Welsh scrum half. His name
is
I'm just gonna Google Wales scrum half. This is a terrible look for
preparedness.
yeah, because also if I read the wrong name now, then
Isn't it Gareth Davies?
yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Should we just go for him, man?
Are we just chucking? Yeah, but now we're just chucking him in as a
He's
pity, as a throw them a bone.
I think Van Portfleet is the call.
I have to agree with.
Well,
them.
then fine.
But it was nice
I
that
would
we
just
now
like
figured
it
out.
on,
his
I would
name
just
and
like it
names.
on the record that I stand for Wales
Okay,
and Welsh rugby.
Okay.
Okay.
Good for you.
we love to see it.
Okay.
Okay,
Should we put another fly off on the bench here?
do we need another fly off?
I think it's just.
I think we need to put Marcus.
I think
Smith
it's
on there
Marcus
probably.
Smith on there.
Mark Smith.
Two birds, one
cover.
stone.
Team covered. He also covers inside center.
He can. I don't think he's very good at. He's
Does
not.
he?
I don't think he's very good at it. But he can. He's. I think.
I
He's,
think if Owen Farrell goes along, he goes
You
on
know
the
that's-
bench
sorry.
because he can cover.
yeah. A short.
Yeah.
He can no arms tackle anyone, and that's
A short interjection here. It's so strange how different English sports have so much in common. The English soccer team or football team does to do the same thing. Find players that are really good in a position and then play them out of position,
position.
and wonder why it doesn't work.
and then be
Or-
super
and then
critical
move
of
them around. It's like Bukayo Saka playing at left
Yeah.
back for England at the last Euros. It's
Terrible.
crazy.
The Springboks did that for a long time as well.
Yeah, and
I
it
mean,
got us nowhere.
No.
well, except for Peter Steptoe.
Yeah.
that was a stroke of genius, and that worked out quite nicely.
All right, let's get to the last one, the contentious one. Are we putting another wing on, or are we putting a centre on? So this is a tough one because I think, ooh,
With the likes of
you probably can't put another wing on because you'd have to have like someone like Kinghorn cover wing. Then
yeah,
you have to put a
exactly.
centre on.
Yeah, I agree. Just looking at the list and like thinking about their size.
I think, yeah, I think because even like you could most nines can also play wing.
What?
They can.
No.
Get them out the way.
No.
Can I just make the case for Bundy Aki, one of the greatest centers who's playing currently?
Yeah, I think so. That's actually a good shout.
Because if he's not on our starting team of the
Outside shout for captain as well, I think.
really,
Yeah, if he plays.
no,
Not for captain.
I disagree with that
Why?
because he's not even
He
captaining
captains
Ireland.
Connacht.
Yeah, but I mean,
Captain's Connacht, and Connacht's not very good.
I mean,
caught yourself there.
you can only have one captain per team.
Also, we're playing him as 23. Like he's
Well,
not,
there was quite a debate around Bundy Aki and Tui Pilato. Actually, he came into the conversation. And
Let's just put him in the team before we're making him captain, okay?
I said outside shout.
All right.
You people think I've selected him already.
no, but far outside. Like we haven't let him into the property yet.
Yes. Okay. Do you think the Irish came for us before? You should see how they come for us if we don't put Bundy Aki in this team.
Yeah.
No,
All
he's
right.
in the team. I'm saying for captaincy.
All right. Do you want to read us our
Okay,
start? This is going to be the starting team for the first game against Australia.
Yes. So we've got Andrew Porter, we've got Sheehan and Will Stewart. That's our front row. Then we've got Itoje and Tagburn. Those are our locks. Tom Curry, Josh van der Fleer.
Tom Curry's grandfather, they named the Curry Cup after him.
Thank you. Josh van der Fleer and Keelan Doris round out our forwards. Then we have Jameson Gibson Park, Finn Russell as our what do they call them?
Half-back pairing.
Half-back pairing. Then we've got James Lowe and Darcy Graham. Inside
some incredible wings, eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Inside centre Tui Pilotu and Hugh Jones. And fullback we have Kinghorn.
It's a very good team.
Replacement bench we have Luca Ndiki, Ellis Genge, Piers Schoeman, I think it's Ryan Gilchrist, Ben Earl, Van Portfleet, Marcus Smith, and Bundy Aki.
It's a very good team.
I think it's a solid team.
Very good team.
Yeah. Good luck, Australia.
Good luck, Australia.
My goodness. And I think Farrell is a really good coach as well. And I think also the fact that he's I feel like he's not like with Gatland. I found that it's obviously an Australian coaching, the Isles and trying to bring guys together. I feel like Farrell's quite well traveled as a coach between the different, well, at least two sets of players. Having been behind the scenes at England and then at Ireland now, I think he's just a great fit.
Yeah.
I think it's a team that can do some damage, and Australia needs to really pull up their socks if they want to try and compete against that.
Can I, before we, I don't know if you're going to end it there.
I was going to end it there.
Can I just quickly give a massive shout out to the Bulls, who ended Leinster's massive winning run?
Yeah.
That is very impressive.
Very
I know
impressive.
it was at home, and I know it was super tight, and I'm sure if you're a Leinster fan, you'd probably say it's contentious, but that's big.
Yeah. Especially the way that they won it at the end they almost threw it away at the end as well.
Yeah.
But the way that they won it at the end was a massive, massive scrum that actually went down 3 times. But the third time it wasn't even their put in, and they still managed to turn over that ball and then Creel.
It might only be my fascination now that you remember it. I'm very fascinated by what Russie's going to do with Creel because of his ability, his kicking ability, but the fact that he plays it inside center and his adaptability.
Did you go to an alignment camp this year?
He went, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just very, very intrigued because Jake White couldn't praise him any higher. So very interesting to see. I'm just very intrigued.
And for anybody keeping track, if we continue like this, it could be that all 4 South African teams get into the knockout stages.
Which would be amazing.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments who you would select as the captain for the team that we have put together. There's
just in general, like combinations. Do you think Kyle Steyn should be in the team?
For example. Do you think our team is a load of crap? Do you think they would do quite well? And who do you think would be the standout player in that team?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
And
you have it.
Check you guys tomorrow for the leftovers.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
Cheerio.